Shalom everybody, this is Brian Hazel Newman from Hebrew Hearts Ministry, TwilightParables.com. TwilightParables.com is our dream interpretation site. Sometimes you're an interpreter, you understand your own dreams. It's like a plumber that doesn't do his own plumbing. Sometimes you're just too close to stuff. You have such fixed ideas or something, or you're so fixated on something in your own head that you can't really see it clearly. So you have to call another interpreter in to help you out. Like sometimes prophetic people need confirmation from other prophetic people because they realize that something is so important to them that their hearing might be clouded. And dream interpretation and prophecy are usually two different things. There's a gift of wisdom, a gift of understanding, a gift of prophecy, and those three can kind of tie into dream interpretation, but not completely, not always. So if you have a gift of understanding, you just kind of get stuff. It's like, oh, that makes sense. You can think with your right brain is what it means. You're creative. You can think with your right brain. You can kind of put things together people don't see. You just see how they fit. And you think symbolically, which is the thing in dreams. Dreams are symbols. Most often. So you just think in symbols. You just naturally do that. Gift of understanding. Gift of wisdom is something like discernment. Wisdom is maybe knowing who to share your dream with, who you're not share it with, which I would learn the hard way. It's learning when to act upon a dream, when not to act upon it. That's kind of wisdom, is what you do with it. Understanding is understanding it. So you think it symbolically. The gift of wisdom is kind of knowing what, when, how, where, and who to do something with the dream. Those are kind of natural abilities. There's a gift of discernment, which is a spiritual gift, which you could look at something and say, oh, God gave you that dream. Or the devil gave you that dream. Or you gave you that dream. And in most, if someone's totally unaware of dream interpretation, usually there's certain indicators. But that's not always the case either, because Satan appears as an angel of light. Like really bright light is usually, or bright colors is usually indication of a dream from God. And there's a certain school of thought which says, oh, well, it's always a dream of God if it's bright colors. And it's dark colors, it's always Satan. I don't necessarily agree with that because Satan's angel of light. He can pop up glowing in all sorts of people's dreams. Joseph Smith and Muhammad, had glowing figures appearing to them. So I don't really think that's accurate because the enemy he appears as an angel of light. So that'd be good to discernment though, is to know that was the devil, that was God, that was you, that was pizza, etc. They're just sleeping meds. That's discernment. Get discernment, supernatural gift. Whereas wisdom, understanding of kind of natural inclinations, there is a supernatural gift of discernment, and there's a supernatural gift of prophecy. Like Daniel was given wisdom and understanding, which gave him the ability to interpret dreams, like an intellectual kind of personality level. But then there came Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And Nebuchadnezzar didn't say, tell me what my dream means. Nebuchadnezzar said, tell me what my dream was, or I will kill you. So Daniel had to fast for 40 days. And then God gave Daniel the interpretation and the dream prophetically. God told Daniel what the dream was. Totally prophetic. You can't figure out with your brain or your personality what something is if you've never heard it before. If it doesn't exist, you don't know what it is. So that was a complete, utter prophetic thing Daniel did, where God gave him a download of the dream and the source and the meaning. So that happens. But not everyone has that gift. Like I think I have a gift of understanding as far as dreams goes. Working on the wisdom part, those are natural inclinations. The gift of discernment to know the source can be difficult, especially in your own dreams. So that's new to me because I'm not a prophet by any means whatsoever that I know of. I'm a teacher. I understand the principles of things and the symbols, and I can remember them and explain them. But the prophetic side of things is where the discernment comes in and the prophecy part. And I don't have those giftings that I know of. So I have a friend that interprets dreams and is prophetic, and she interprets dreams prophetically. So I had this recurring dream. It's not a recurring dream, it's a recurring theme. There's always this guy in my dreams. And he's always trying to steal the blessing I was promised was intended for me. Not that I would have that particular blessing, but it was intended for me. It's God's intention for me to be blessed in a certain area with a certain person. So that's been stated over and over and over by numerous people. And I keep having these dreams where someone else is always trying to steal it. And it's not always the same person on the outside. Sometimes he looks like he's in India. Sometimes he's white. Sometimes he's black. Sometimes he looks Portuguese. Sometimes he looks Mexican. One time he looked kind of Asian. Sometimes I can't see his face. One day I let this guy I work with. I mean, just this is like on Facebook. I mean, always looks differently outside. But every time he's pretty much doing the same thing, which is trying to come in and distract or steal. Same thing, all the time. Trying to distract or steal. Different face, always does the same things. Always have the same sense about him. Like, is this a real person? Or is this some kind of symbol? Or is this, what is this? If it's the same person every time, I'd kind of freak out. But, like, crap, I gotta really pray hard about this. But it's like a different appearance every time. And I know someone else is having similar dreams. A person doing the same thing, but different appearance every time, which is really confusing. So I asked my friend about it. That's really prophetic. Interprets dreams. And I showed her the dreams. And she's like, that's the enemy. It's a shapeshifter. He's constantly shifting shapes, but he's always doing the same thing. It's how you know it's him. He's always trying to distract. He's always trying to steal. And if God has said over and over something's intended for you, and the same symbol of sorts keeps, then a certain individual keeps coming to your dreams every time trying to do that. And it's a different face every time, but it's the same actions. Same actions, same intentions, doing what the enemy does, which is trying to distract and trying to steal, In the dream itself, he's trying to distract or steal every time. And then the real life effect is to bring fear, anxiety, confusion, and doubt of what God said, or they will carry through with it, and confusion and doubt in general. And those are all things of the enemy. The enemy always wants you to doubt what God said. He wants you to think God can't or won't carry through with what he said. He wants you to be confused. He wants you to be afraid. And he wants you to make decisions out of fear. And that's the huge thing the enemy always wants us to do, is to make decisions out of fear, make decisions out of anxiety. And if you go back to the Garden of Eden, he got Adam to make decisions out of fear of losing Eve. He got Eve to make a decision out of the fear that she's going to miss out on something great. Like if Eve stuck with what God told her to do from the beginning, then she would miss out on something great. So the enemy came in and put this fear in her that if she carried out with what God wanted her to do, she'd be missing out on something, and she would just totally blow it. She would miss out. She stuck what God told her to do. So that fear gets put in her. Then Adam freaks out, and Adam is afraid he's going to lose his wife. So Adam kind of bails on what God told him because he's afraid of losing his wife. And Adam was probably more sure than Eve was, because I think Adam got told first. But that's what the enemy always wants to do. And if there's a recurring something in your dreams, like mine, over and over and over, that the faces might change, the names might change, but it's the same recurring thing as someone's trying to distract or trying to steal. And if you wake up feeling confused or anxious or panicky, or wanting to say or do something out of fear, then it's probably the enemy over and over. And the shape-shifting thing is a characteristic of the devil in many of the cultures. I'm doing a website right now, Faith of Abraham, where I explain, like, basically I'm trying to take everything I know about the Bible and put it on a website, especially the Hebrew roots perspective, but just not every little tiny thing, but the basic concepts. Like, I had a little tab like the Satan in Scripture. And some people think that Satan doesn't exist. Some people think he's a symbol for your id. Some people think he's just a concept of evil or anarchy. Some people would think he walks around with a pitchfork. I mean, we have so many conclusions and pictures from Greek mythology, from the Middle Ages, from psychology, all these concepts floating around. But one of the things I talk about is every culture has a deceiver, usually a shape-shifting deceiver that shifts shapes, deceives people. And he just runs around causing confusion and chaos. In Hebrew, the word for death is mot. Mot, the pictures, word symbols are covenant with chaos. You take the letters, it's covenant with chaos. Because anything in chaos is dying. You put something in chaos, it will die. Anything around you. Our planet, if it goes into chaos, we all die. If our bodies go into chaos, we die. If our heart beats too quick, too slow, we breathe too fast, too slow, we die. Chaos kills everything. And death is a covenant with chaos. It's when chaos is irrevocable. And that's what the enemy does. He comes to kill, steal, and destroy. He brings death. And how he brings death is through chaos. He brings chaos through fear, anxiety, and doubt. So if you see something in your dreams causing fear, anxiety, and doubt consistently, and especially if it's got a face on it, it's probably the enemy shapeshifting. They called him Loki in Norse mythology, and which is kind of interesting because his brother's Thor, which is picture Baal. But the Loki in Norse mythology is a deceiver, a shapeshifter. In all the African cultures, Native American cultures, there's a shapeshifter running around causing issues, like Mystique and the X-Men running around causing confusion and chaos. And even if this thing in your dream has a different face every time, has a different name every time, it's probably the same character. It's a shapeshifter.